Hi, this is Mark. There are a lot of reasons to get angry these days, but I prefer to focus on the positive things that we each can do to make this world a better place. The book, Building a Better World in Your Backyard, Instead of Being Angry at Bad Guys, is a great resource for just that. Instead of throwing my arms up in frustration at governments or big corporations, there's a list of ideas that we each can tackle to affect change. Information about this book and other resources can be found at permies.com.
All right, we're here.
Yay!
Hi, everybody.
All right, so we got Bo is kind of hosting us, and then we got Fred, and you have 2 acres, right?
Yes.
2 acres, and you've been here, is it 9 years now?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, just to be clear, you showed up for 4 weeks, and then to take a 2-week PDC, and then you were going to split, but for some reason you're still here.
Yeah, I packed for a 6-week trip.
Okay, and then Dez is here, and so Dez, you hit your 2-year mark, like, I don't know, over a year ago. Is that right?
About 2 years. About 2 years to the date.
Wow. Okay. So
little over, yeah.
Okay, and but then you also got a $10,000 bonus on top of that.
Yes.
And then Steven, you hit your 2-year mark just a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now Dez got an acre, and you got an acre, and you also harvested the last $10,000 bonus from donated, and I don't know whether we're keeping him anonymous or what, but I kind of want to. We did name a structure after him for this, but I'm not sure how much publicity he wants on that. But Dez, you went and visited him not long ago. Do you know how you probably don't know. It probably didn't come up. Anyway, all right. There's a dude, and he put up a bunch of money, and so when people got 700 BRK posts, or now called BEL posts, then he put up 10 grand posts, or now called BEL posts. Oh, there's a feedback loop. Okay.
I fixed it.
You fixed it. All right. So and now those funds are all gobbled up. And so you guys are like, dancing in the glow of an extra 10 grand. That's kind of
yeah.
So and then so Steven, you've got your acre and your 10 grand, and it seems like the 10 grand dance was fairly recently.
Yes.
Yeah. A little trip into Missoula,
Yeah, I did a Halloweeny kind of movie and bicycle trip into Missoula this past weekend. So Thursday night, I saw Hocus Pocus. Friday night, I saw Carrie. Saturday night, I saw Lady Terminator. 2 out of 3 ain't bad at all. Guess which one was absolutely hilariously bad?
Lady, I've never even heard of it.
Got it in one. Lady Terminator. Outrageously, ridiculously, hilariously bad.
I never even heard of it. I mean, maybe that's why.
That's a clue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Steven's taste in movies.
Yes.
It's got to be terrible.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I treated myself. I've been spending the past almost 2.5 years putting those posts together, and yeah, I wanted to take this weekend off.
So I think there's 3 things to talk about today. One of them is the GAMCOD plot. So 200 square feet, and I'm just shooting from memory here, 20,000 calories, which...
Yeah, it was like a 20,800 something, I think.
And it maps out to 4 million calories if you're to do a full acre. And it was definitely starting with dirt. And the amount of work was mostly just watering.
Yeah, after we had built it, and we spent like an hour and a half a week putting that new hugel together. And I think on May 1st is when we officially started with planting and then, irrigating it and just watering it. And we would only spend, 30 minutes watering it each week after that,
Right.
30 to 40 minutes.
Right. And then the 30 minutes that you spent, you had like a hose with something on the end of the hose. And then, if I remember correctly, it goes like this. I'm going to make a facial expression. I'm not sure if I got this correct. Am I doing it right?
What in the world is that supposed to represent? Before I say anything else.
I think it's just a mindless water.
Here's my hose.
Concentration face.
I'm watering. And so basically the idea is that, it's not like it was 20, because you said there was about 20 hours of work on the garden for the season. And that's after 30 hours of building the hugelkultur. And
Sure.
basically there was a spot like, oh, look over there. There's a hole in the ground and it's got dirt at the bottom. I mean, nothing's growing there. It's pretty dead.
Yeah.
And you're grabbing this kind of gravelly dirt. And apparently
first we thought it was just a bunch of clay. And then I showed Fred where it was that we grabbed it all from. And he said, oh, that's probably a combination of silt and clay together. And, but there was really nothing going on in there
I think it's
until we showed up.
I think it's probably mostly silt. And so,
there's me talking about.
but the key is definitely started with dirt. And then you hauled it with buckets from over there to over here.
Yeah.
And then there were some, woody bits around and you kind of threw those in there to make it hoogly. And,
it was the bottom layer was all wood chunks that had already been sitting at Allerton Abbey for a while. Then some of that dirt was the next layer and then a narrower layer of wood chunks and then more dirt.
So before we get into that, I'm thinking we're going to circle back to that. But basically, that's one of the things I want to talk about is this 20,000 calories out of this small plot, starting with dirt.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the most important thing. And I want to say, there was 20 hours of effort, but I imagine 15 of those 20 hours was kind of standing there holding a hose, kind of going, I don't know what that.
If only I could sing that well.
That's the theme song. Okay, and then so it's like it's not exactly brutal labor.
No. The heavy stuff was done after the building, and then after that, it's just paying attention to the plants that are growing in there.
So the second thing is to talk about our BEL fundraiser that's going on right now. So today we're going to talk for a maximum of 30 minutes, but every time somebody puts coin into the BEL fundraiser, and hopefully somebody will make a linky link there, then we will talk for another certain amount of time. I think it's another minute for every $10. Is that, am I doing it right, Bo? Am I saying it right?
It's right now. Whatever you just said is what we're doing.
Okay. So can you put a link in there so people can do it?
Yeah, can you guys see the link? It looks like Paul posted it, but it was actually me.
Okay.
Let's pin that link.
Oh, people can see. There, look at all that. There's a whole bunch of people. So I had to click the right button. We didn't even see there was people there until now. Okay, look at all those people.
Hello, everybody who's posted something. Haven't had a chance to read it, but thank you for joining us.
Can you make that window bigger?
Yeah. I can make it bigger. And if you were here earlier, I would have explained why I didn't make it bigger.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I can. Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad we had this chat.
Sorry, everybody. We can't read what you wrote.
I think that there might be other ways to bring it up, but okay.
Do you want me to show you things people are saying?
We can. He'll highlight
still
stuff
won't
here.
be able to see it.
We got a lot of hellos.
We're not the one sitting right next to the computer.
Yeah, but
it's a laptop. It's made to be on your lap, not 5 or 6 feet away.
But he's got super eagle eye vision. And so, okay, all right. The third thing we're going to talk about is the Allerton Abbey offer. So And I think the first time new boots can arrive is in about a week and we've got
This coming Sunday.
One boot arriving, and but it's like now through, I think it was like March 23rd or something like that. So any boots that arrive during that window, if they are here for 4 years, they can have Allerton Abbey, and this is under the Deep Roots program. And it's Allerton Abbey, and there's a fence. The gardens there are pretty lush right now. They're not bad. They're not super great, but we're estimating that there might be 1 million calories of food there right now. And then, and within the fence, and so you get Allerton Abbey, which is a humble home. You've lived there quite a bit, haven't you? You've probably got a year or two racked up in Allerton Abbey.
Yeah, probably 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and of course all the gardens and the greenhouse, the beautiful greenhouse. Anyway, that's on the table. And I kind of feel like, well, and somebody said, well, what if you get like a bunch of boots that all show up and they all want it? And it's like, well, if we have a bunch of boots, we could build a bunch more of those. And so, we've got a couple of structures that are like,
Close.
And so we could wrap them up and trick them out a bit. Okay. So those are the big three things that I want to talk about. Anyway, I'm not sure where exactly to begin, but looks like no one's put any coin in. So I guess we've got 19 more minutes to go, and then we suddenly stop. I would like to say that your GAMCOD plot, 200 square feet of dirt, it has 3 crops that were pulled off of it, and to qualify for GAMCOD, we would need 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I talked to Andreas the other day, and he said, are we going to make a movie this year with the GAMCOD video? And it sounded like most of the people that were sending in their video footage, like there were a couple more people who haven't finished sending in video footage, but there were, I think, 6 people sending in video footage. And I think 3 of them were in an area that was too warm, or there was something about what they're doing that made it so that they didn't qualify. So for this GAMCOD round, this time, you have to get to a certain temperature. I think it was 0 Fahrenheit at least once in the last 10 years. So you have to have touched. I think that's what I'd have to look it up to see, to remind myself what parameters we set. But we're looking for colder climate stuff. And then you needed to grow 5 different crops that are things that you could find in a typical grocery store. And then there was going to be a hyper focus on trying to grow a lot of calories. You definitely have to start with dirt, and then try to track how much time and money you put into it. How much money did you put into it?
The team put no money into it whatsoever. Everything that we had potatoes already sitting around. We had sunchokes growing everywhere. And then pumpkin seeds were from last year. So, we had done a 3 Sisters scheme last year and, just retrieved a bunch of those, pumpkin seeds and used those.
I did find it interesting that the pumpkins that popped up, while they were all definitely pumpkins, they were kind of like varieties of pumpkins. So
yeah, well, that's one of the things that we focused on last year was we wanted to have jack-o'-lantern pumpkins so everybody could recognize, oh, that's definitely a pumpkin for real.
Okay.
And then the other kind was pumpkin pie pumpkins. So not just look good, but taste good. And each of those 2 varieties grew. We didn't know what they were going to be beforehand, but yeah, 2 specifically different varieties of pumpkin actually came up.
I wonder if there's a variety of pumpkin where it's like high calories per acre, or, which might actually be a lot of pumpkin seeds, because the seeds definitely had a lot more calories than the pumpkin flesh.
Yeah. It was like 23 23 calories per 100 grams of pumpkin flesh versus 350 for 100 grams, or even more than that for the pumpkin seeds.
The money went up. Look at that. So I think so. We go an extra 10 minutes. Is that right, Bo?
Nope, it's gone up $100.
It's gone up $100. So
yeah, that's 10 minutes. You're right.
So 10 minutes. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks to person. Thank you, person.
Yay.
And they're showing up in the thing with a new note, I'm sure. Okay. I think it's a good time to talk about a lot of the food systems that we've got here. I mean, I know I've been poking around at the garden that's just inside the paddock here. I've been plucking out grasses. I plucked out a ton of mint to just kind of like step back, mint. I'm trying to grow something else here. And I threw down some seeds and I went and I took a bag of, well, here it is. I have this bag of sprouting seeds that are just they're just daikons. I got them cheap. They're organic seeds, and I just kind of started pitching them everywhere. And now we've got
they are all over the place.
I've seen it.
You're the one that threw the daikon.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah, I just pitched them on the ground, and handfuls of them.
All the greens are just exploding everywhere.
It was like $3 for this big bag, for a whole pound of daikon seed.
Nice.
And you can definitely tell where the deer have been coming through. So we've got a paddock here at base camp, but there's a bunch of hugelkulturs outside of the paddock, and the deer have been plowing through those. And they've already chomped some of our fruit trees, but I think after they started chomping fruit trees, you made some bone sauce.
Yeah. Dez, this is the first time that we actually made bone sauce. It smells disgusting.
It's supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, I must be partially a deer because I can't stand the aroma at all.
You are a deer, Steven.
Hopefully it works but oh gosh, yeah, making it was not difficult, but revealing it, you just got this waft of terrible barbecue, and I don't know, it was the smell of death. It was just, it was wretched. Absolutely the worst fragrance I've ever been subject to willingly. It was the worst.
Have you used it yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, because
after the deer.
And I bring it up because after the deer came through, that was like our big clue by four that it's time to put out some more bone sauce and protect the trees. And as far as I can tell, the trees haven't been mowed down any further from those deer. They're going after the leftover stems and stalks from the sunchokes we have around here, but the trees seem to be okay. And those are the things that we want to keep anyhow. We do have some sunchokes that are marked that are still in the ground, but we put little flags on top of them. So whenever it's cold outside and we want some sunchokes, we'll just dig them out of the ground, dig them out of the snow.
That's amazing.
Or
Nice.
But,
So since the BEL thing has not moved, maybe we can put that link back up again. Well, it hasn't moved since that person put in $100. At least I think it was maybe two people put in $50. But it's like maybe we should make whiny sounds about it again. But also to point out that the BEL is different than the BRK in that with the BRK, and I think Dez suffered from this a lot. And it used to be that a bunch of people said every time somebody rings the bell for the BRK, they'll put in like $20 or something. And then it got to the point where hardly anybody would pay out their money. And it's like, so I think what happened is it turned into kind of an obligation is poison sort of a thing. And so I visited with Bo, and Bo is now managing the BEL 100%. I'm not involved, but he and I visited about how to make it less of a poison to people and more of a joy. And So we came up with this thing. So rather than putting in like $20 every time somebody rings the bell, maybe put in like $100, and then every time somebody rings the bell, they get 10% of whatever's left. And so basically your $100 will last forever. And it's just a matter of like, but you know, the problem with this is that we got to get a bunch of money into the fund to kind of get it going. And, so that's what this fundraiser is about. So that way we're hoping to get 20,000, we're off to a terrible start. I thought by now we'd be well over 5,000, but, I was wrong. And so, but if we had 20,000, then the next time somebody rang the bell, they would get $2,000. And then, the next time after that somebody rang the bell, it would be closer to like, $1,800. And, so on and so forth. So just to let people know, the idea of you ring the bell when you have 100 posts that have at least 3 pictures and,
or video.
Or a video. And it has to be a video that you made and pictures that you took of projects that you were involved in, in the last couple of days. And we have to say that because somebody thought that they could post videos that they just found on YouTube that they thought were cool. And, no. Somebody, we talked about this, I think a week or two ago, and somebody made the point of like, they're glad to put money in, but what they request is that it's about the projects that are being done, whether it's gardening or natural building or whatever the projects are. Please go easy on the pictures of kittens or blooms, or, non-projecty things. Cause Fred, he's like all about the blooms and insects. Like, I just want to show you pictures of blooms and insects. And they're nice pictures. Don't get me wrong. They're clear pictures. Yep, that's definitely. And then you name it, which is great. Or the insect.
You've got an audience that really loves it, Fred. I'm just going to say that.
Oh yeah, I know. I look at the thread views on mine, and it's 10 times what most of the other ones are.
Oh, okay. All right. So the key is that I think Dez he had some BRK post days that looked pretty kitten intensive.
Although that is, of course, Dez of the days were pretty kitten intensive.
It's reflective of how my time was spent. Yes.
Now I do think now. Speaking of the BEL and going back to the BRK, I know that I've heard, because some people kind of talk about like, oh, you could do better if you worked at McDonald's or something, but I think I've heard both Dez and Steven say that they come out cash positive from the boot camp because of the BRK BEL. Is that so? Dez, I know I've heard you say that a bunch, so you did a thumbs up. That is true.
Yep.
Steven, does that seem true to you?
If I wasn't so much a slave to beer or donuts, I probably would be much more cash positive right now. Yeah.
So I think that if you've got a professional job and you're getting a professional wage and you're living humbly, then you can definitely put the coin away stronger than being here. But I think if you don't have any debt, and your alternative is looking at something that's like, I don't know, service industry or something, such as working at McDonald's, then I don't know, if you're going to pay for a bunk and food with that money, I think you're probably going to end up dollars ahead being in the boot camp, which is more like a shitty school than being at McDonald's. And then also doing the BRK, BEL. So.
You probably don't learn that many useful things working at McDonald's.
I don't know. There might be some useful things. I mean, I would imagine
people
some
life lessons. what I like to call anti-soft skills. Yeah.
I spent a year and a half working at a Mickey D's back in the day. So,
How did it stack up to Bootcamp High Commander as far as?
Oh my gosh. Well, I learned first in, first out. You got time to clean. You got time to clean. And those are the kinds of things that I learned when I was
life lessons.
Yeah. That helped me build character.
Did you build skills in not stabbing people you work with?
It took a lot of practice. That worked out okay though. But
they don't provide too many knives at McDonald's, so it's a little bit of a thing.
You got to bring your own knife.
The point I do want to bring up about that is that hey, now I'm here at Wheaton Labs, and I know what I can always go back to, and that's another reason why I want to stay here and do this sort of thing. Because that's not the kind of life I want to lead. Those aren't the kind of values that I want to.
Oh, we got more money!
Hey, thank you.
How big of it? Did we just make another $100 lead?
That's another $10. Yeah.
Another 10 minutes?
Another 10 minutes. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think that's another. So we made it over $1,000. Nice.
Yay! Thank you.
So,
but this is a place with different values, and I choose to live my life here and do this kind of stuff here because I don't want to promote what's going on out there at McDonald's. And I don't mean to be swatting you.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You're not going right at me.
Yeah. I'll put you in the hammerlock. No. Sorry.
So, all right. Allerton Abbey. I think it's a beautiful structure. I love the rocket cooktop that's inside of it. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like, and I think Josiah made fun of me because there was a point in time when I said, oh, it's like 97% done. And Josiah rolls his eyes. And I think you might be right. That eye roll might have been valid. I would say right now, maybe it's closer to 94% complete. Like there's the wing wall replacement is still in progress. And I really want to lay on the mulch on the roof, super heavy.
Cool. Okay.
And I kind of feel like the GAMCOD plot was one way of doing that. The GAMCOD plot it sits on top of the mass. It's not sitting over the living space, but it's sitting on top of the mass. Mm-hmm. But, we have huge news about the greenhouse. Massive news. And so that very first year the greenhouse was built, the temperature inside of the thermal wells was a solid 46.2 degrees, rock solid steady. You couldn't get it to budge an inch. And but when you get down 20 feet deep, the temperature around here is 46.2. That's the average of all the days and nights and winters and summers and all of everything. 46.2. And so then we got the thermosiphons activated, and then we started to see the temperatures kind of bump up a little bit, a little bit of wiggle up. And in that first, and it was kind of like 46.2, and then I think it started to level off around January. So I think the cold of the winter started to sink in, whereas the heat of like the heat inside of the greenhouse kind of, the heat of the mass carried it for quite a while. So the Wafati heat and the different kinds of heat carried it until January, very steady. And so that gradually warmed up the bottom of the wells by 1 degree. So I imagine through the spring it chilled a bit, but then, the thing is that Steven went and took new data, just last week, I think, of the bottom of those thermal wells, and they've gone up 5 degrees.
It's like 54 degrees Fahrenheit down there right now.
Is it 54? I thought it was like 50.4 or something like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So it's 5 degrees warmer. Maybe it was more than that. I can't remember the exact number, but I remember thinking that's more than 5 degrees. And plus, the angle of the glass is optimized for, I believe, February 1st. And so that would be November or something. So we're coming in on the optimal point for the solar gain on the glass, I think.
Okay.
And so we'll see it heat up more in there, and we'll also see it warm up the thermal wells more in there.
Yeah, we have thermometers. Who's that? We have thermometers. Where is it? In the greenhouse itself, and then there's one in each of the wells that are down inside the greenhouse, and so we can monitor temperature throughout the year. And there are many more fluctuations and extremes that go on inside the greenhouse space itself. The thermal wells stay relatively constant, but like Paul was saying, the average is now creeping upward, I told Paul that like it was no big deal, and he's like, what? It's 50.4 degrees Fahrenheit? That's such huge news. And I said, oh, yeah, sure it is. Yes, absolutely. So, but yeah, I mean, it's showing changes, and it's showing the difference that the construction had made.
So it's working. It's doing what it was designed to do.
And this also was the first year we actually grew sweet potatoes in there. Now, they were not the loveliest sweet potatoes ever, but it was the first time ever that sweet potatoes had been grown. And they typically take a much warmer climate in order to grow. The conditions inside the greenhouse worked great. I mean, we planted them in May, I believe. No, it was in April, the latter part of April. And the greenery just sort of exploded throughout the summer. So the greenhouse was a really conducive area for them. We would be adding mulch and things into the box where the sweet potatoes were growing.
Yeah.
And finally, when the vines started dying back, because they were like spilling over the edge of the big growing tub thing that they were in. We finally did our harvest and came up with almost a 5-gallon bucket full of sweet potato like tubers. Next year it's going to be even more glorious. Right now we have vegetables growing there right now. Some cold weather stuff. We're going to see how long that lasts over the summer. Or over the winter, excuse me.
Hey, this is T. Blankenship. Are you a fan of pie? Where there's pie at Permies.com. This pie grants the user secret access. You also get free things like videos of Wheaton Labs, the ability to add 2 thumbs up to posts, and more. To get pie, go to Permies.com/pie to get the inside scoop of what pie can do for you. Again, that is Permies.com/pie.
I did see some sweet potatoes coming up in there, so you might not have got all.
Yeah, okay.
Which is cool.
A couple volunteers.
Yeah, keep it. But I don't know. I do know that that first winter, it got down inside. The temperature got down to 34, so it didn't freeze, but it got close. But maybe it'll be 5 degrees warmer now. So here's open. But I like the idea of like we need to add a ton of mulch on top of the greenhouse as well, and all kinds of growies, and build more hugels that kind of lead up to the greenhouse and stuff like that. So there's a bunch. But that's another thing too, is we'll continue to do all kinds of gardening at Allerton Abbey, even though the systems are coming online now. Right now, there's a bunch of fruit trees and stuff in there that we started from seed, and nut trees. The pecans are the most precious. Everybody was really, because like a deer got in once, and they went right for the pecan trees. They're like, that's the tastiest thing. So. And
are there hazelnuts that have stuck around?
There's at least a couple hazelnuts, and those are ones that we bought from Mark Shepard.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Josiah and Jen and I went in on an order, and then we ended up planting 5 hazelnuts there at the Abbey, and then the rest on our plots. And so I found at least 2 of them, but I got here and the leaves had already kind of started to fall. So there might be 3 more, but I for sure found 2 that were still alive.
Okay.
And I think that's $100 more.
Oh, hot dog! Look at that!
Thank you for that.
Nice. And we got those sweet sap silver maple trees growing there. And those are the ones where they grow, like you can tap them in 9 years, as opposed to a sugar maple. It takes 30 years until you can tap it.
Wow.
And on top of that, the sap that you harvest from it has 2.5 times more sugar content. So you won't have to, reduce it as much.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure if it tastes the same. I've heard some people saying that, silver maple tastes pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's not.
You've tried it.
I haven't tried it, like a pure silver maple syrup and pure, but like I've mixed it in and it was no different from any other maple syrup that I tried.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, when I tapped maples, it was silver maples, sugar maples, box elders. It was everything mixed together, but it still came out.
And since there's more money in the pot and we're going to have a little bit more time, I'm going to, go into a little, instead of talking about the BEL and give us monies, which by the way, I get 0 of, just to be clear. It all goes, so Bo manages it.
And he gets 0.
And then he gets 0. So, the only people that get any of this are going to be the boots and the boot camp. But I do want to point out that, Samantha was here yesterday. She made a stew and she put in, she did this once before and we did it again, but this time there's those walking onions everywhere. There's like, I'm going to guess that right now, if you were to go count the plants, the onions in the ground between base camp and the lab, I'm going to say if there's like an office pool, you put in $1. I'm going to put in my dollar at 2,000.
Okay.
There's 2,000 walking onion plants between the base camp and the lab. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, because sometimes at one, we planted one bulbil, and if you don't harvest it the next year, then you have 2 onions, and then you have so some spots have, 8 or 10 onions in one little patch. And so like what I do if I'm cooking a meal is I'll go pull out all those except one and leave one in the ground and then cook the rest. But they just multiply at their base and then they multiply on the top set.
I think it was 7 years ago you threw like a dozen in the ground or something.
Well, it might have been more like 100 or 200.
Oh, okay. 100 or 200.
Yeah, a dozen would be like 1 or 2 tops, Yeah,
but now we have thousands, and now I think an important thing about walking onions is that they are smaller than your more conventional onions.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing, I understand the whole thing is edible, although if you try to eat the big part, the big stem part when it's big, it'll be woody.
I mean, any time that, as soon as that starts going up to set the bulbils, the top set part, that's always woody. As soon as it starts growing, because it has to hold the weight of those onion tops.
Yeah.
But there's leaves, like regular onion leaves that are, round, hollow, green leaves that grow from the base all year, and those are always edible as a green onion. And you could just cut those off and leave the root in the ground.
So there's a lot of those leaves that come up and they're like, I don't know, 2 feet tall, 1.5 feet tall, something like that. And then they die off and they've got usually this bunch of onions on the top and it flops over and starts this whole new plant.
Yeah.
But we have skillions of those little, and they look like 8 little onions up at the top is what they look like.
They're some of them about the size of pearl onions, some of them smaller.
And so the thing that I thought was amazing that Samantha did is she just cut the tops off. And yesterday we went out there and got some, and we cut the tops off of the stuff where the stalk was dead. and it was all getting moldy and mildewy, and it was getting ready to decompose. And we cut the top off of that, and she threw it into a stew without doing anything else with it, and it was fantastic. Like, you think like, oh, I'm going to get this little onion, I'm going to peel it, and it's
I was going to say, I mean, like, that's one of the reasons that I'm kind of discouraged by walking onions, is because they're so small, and you have to, like, peel or prepare every single individual one. But if you can just drop the whole thing into a stew, then that's probably what I'm going to do from now on.
I've never tried eating the tops, so yeah, that would be maddening to try and peel the top parts.
Yeah, all those little tiny things.
When I have too many of the tops, I break them apart and throw them on the ground.
Yeah. That's what I've been doing too. But when you make it in a soup, it comes out amazingly great. And then another thing that as I'm eating the soup that I was finding is that because the onion bulbs are about like this big around, so they're pretty small. And at the summer events this year, the cook was saying, Cat One, she was saying that she prefers the regular, either the sweet onions or the keeper onions, because she can peel them and prep them faster because, it's a bigger thing. There's more food per
about 6 or 8 times as the mass.
Whereas the walking onions are kind of small, and it takes a lot of work to kind of cut off the rooty bit, cut off the top, peel them, and then you end up with just this little tiny onion bit. But they are stronger flavored, so there is that.
You don't need as much.
However, what I was fishing out of my soup yesterday is that Samantha cut some of those, didn't do a lot of peeling work, and just rinsed the roots thoroughly, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so I'm pulling up this onion about, I don't know, like this big, with a little root mass on it in my soup. And I'm like, oh man, am I going to get a mouthful of dirt? But no, it was excellent. The other thing is that in the soup, because like when you're cutting them, when you cry when you cut onions, it's like you're going to cry 4 times more for walking onions. They just, wow, that is, woo. That is,
do you agree, Dez?
Onion.
It really hits you where it hurts.
Are walking onions more potent than other onions?
Yes.
Some.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember them being just as oniony as the next.
Have you ever used them in one of your dashboard ferments?
You mean like this dashboard?
Yeah, like that guy.
No,
what do you have?
I have yet to. This is red cabbage, Napa cabbage, some fennel and carrots down here, and green onions. Green onions down here.
More mild.
Yeah.
Opposite end of the spectrum. Very good.
I guess
very
so.
Can we do some questions from people who've jumped on, Paul?
Yes, right after we make whiny sounds about put more money in the pot, or we're going to stop talking.
Oh.
Where are we at? We're at a full hour now, so we've got like 15 minutes to go. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so you got to put more money in, or we're gonna go silent.
They might want to after we answer their questions.
Oh yeah. Okay. Are there any big projects that Boots could expect to be part of coming up that could be talked about? I would have to say Wafati stuff is going to be probably the biggest. We'll probably build another GAMCOD plot.
We definitely are building another GAMCOD plot.
Probably some more hugelkultur. A junk pull fence. Mostly I'd say that because I could look out the window and see junk pull fence.
Big picture here. We eventually want to have some chickens. And in order to have chickens, we need paddocks. And in order to have paddocks, we need junk pole fences and gates. And so that's something that has been on the back of my mind almost ever since I moved here. Now that we have the water out of the way, we can focus on the paddocks.
So one of the things I know you've been working on this year a lot, I think too much, but you don't think too much, and you're in charge. And that is the dog pen at the Amazing Dog Stop.
Yes, yeah. So the dog pen's about halfway finished. We have to finish up the fence, which is a sort of a mini version of a jump pole fence. We're going to put a gate there, and then we're going to put the finishing touches on the dog house as well. That's coming up later on in November in terms of like a theme week that you have built into the schedule. But yeah, we're going to finish up the fence. Yeah, because there are a lot of people who want to come here and they have a dog and they're like, hey, where can I keep my dog? And I hate saying, go ahead and keep it in your rig, or, chain it up to the bumper or something like that.
Yeah. Go put it in the mouth of that mountain lion.
Yeah.
That's right. That's happened, I think. I'm not sure, but I think it happened.
Well, there's a missing dog.
There's a missing dog, yeah.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Actually, there was a guy staying at the Red Cabin, and he had a noisy beagle puppy who just kind of couldn't be quiet. And so we were all being tortured by this dog, and then the dog wasn't there anymore, which was in many ways kind of nice because it was so much quieter.
We didn't realize the reason he was not being quiet is because he was telling us, "There's a mountain lion. There's a mountain lion."
Yeah. And
oh, we got more money!
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, but that's not, we want to protect dogs. We don't want that to happen anymore.
No,
and so that's what the point behind the Bark Park is about.
Right.
Is to make sure that there are safe, contained places where a dog can hang out, stay out of the weather, whether it is raining, snowing, or the sun is beating down, the dog has a place to stay where there's going to be a nice big dog house built in that spot. And place for people to keep their toys and all sorts of stuff while they're out, doing, like the summer events, or they're doing boot tasks, or they're on hikes or whatever as a sepper. The idea is that we want to make sure that if a person, can't have their dog with them all this time, then they're going to have a place to keep their dog that is contained and relatively safe.
The question on the table is, what are the projects? And I gotta say that one of the things I'd like to get into, and I kind of feel like we would get into if the theme weeks thing worked, which it didn't. But, by the way, Fred, nice work on that rocket mass heater, during Rocket Week. Oh. That is beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah.
So that is a work of art. Okay. But Art Week, I thought we could have I know of some people that are amazing artists, and I thought it would just be cool to do some stuff. And I don't know. There's a bunch of projects that are more about the art of it than about the practicality of it. But I also kind of think that we could do Hugelkultur Week and Earthworks Week and things like that, or something along those lines. And I've had 20 different people come to me with ideas about having events here, but I don't know. We haven't gotten to that point. We did that PTJ ticket blitz, and it fell shy, and it did pretty good. But it's like, and I was thinking we might do a ticket blitz to do a rocket mass heater jamboree next year. But, the turnout for other stuff has been so light. I'm kind of thinking I don't know, I don't even want to do the work to do a blitz for it. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, if the BEL got super funded super fast, it'd be like, let's do more stuff. But,
we'd probably have more boots who want to come and be part of the team, and that helps move stuff forward.
And that's another thing too, is that if the boot camp was packed and staying packed and stuff, everything becomes far more predictable in what we can do, and we can take on more projects. I want to say that there's been I've had a lot of interest in different people wanting us to do a Kickstarter on a Willow Feeder movie. And so we've been trying to wrap up some Willow Feeder projects, because it's about Willow Feeder projects, and take video of them, to have the raw footage and do we have enough and stuff like that. Back to GAMCOD, since somebody put more money into the BEL, so we could talk a little longer. We didn't get enough people doing GAMCOD this year, but I think we did get enough people doing GAMCOD to give us video footage to make maybe some YouTube videos to encourage more people to do GAMCOD for next year. And then maybe we'll get enough to make a whole movie and do a Kickstarter. But I think the GAMCOD project is super cool from the perspective of like trying to grow enough to feed several people on 1 acre starting from dirt. And the amount of calories that the average person needs is 730,000. So we've always so GAMCOD is grow 1 million calories on an acre of dirt. And so your project alone, works out to 4 million calories on an acre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were able to work that out. And I did mention, there's been a lot of really fantastic discussion in my BEL thread about the numbers that I came up with. Is it accurate? What are some of the exceptions to it? And so on. What happens if you don't like sun chokes? What happens if you need a wider path and things like that?
They're asking, sorry, you finish and then I got a question.
I was just going to say that people were asking, there was a lot of feedback on the numbers that I had posted about the GAMCOD project and what we came up with. So I was really happy to be answering questions or hearing what other people were thinking about the GAMCOD project and how feasible it was, how possible it was. And it turns out that project in particular, it turned out much easier than I thought it was going to in terms of meeting the goal. And second thing I want to mention before I wrap up, Bo, thank you for this extra time here, is big thanks to Trace and Brian and Ben. Those 3 guys definitely helped out on building that Hugel, and it wouldn't be there without those guys there to also lift up buckets along with me and lift up all the logs and put everything in place. So thanks and hello to those guys if they're listening or if they see this again. I wanted to give them a shout out because they were an awesome team to get that Hugel started, and it was definitely paid off. So
it's a productive piece of real estate, man.
Oh yeah, it worked out great.
Fred, they're asking in the chat if we have pictures of the work you did on the Rocket Mass heater.
I have taken a picture, but it wasn't very well lit. So on a sunny day, I need to remember to go take a picture.
Pictures forthcoming.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
One thing that wasn't clear from the question that Paul was trying to answer about upcoming big projects, maybe they're asking if someone's going to be in the boot camp for the next 4 years, what are the big projects?
I would say first one, which has been our top priority for years now, thanks to you, has been make Allerton Abbey reach full girditude. And so, can we have at least one place where it's giant lush gardens and a humble home and a strong fence? That's been at the top, and that's like, now let's do that some more. But I think another thing is that in the last few weeks, we kind of came to the realization that when it comes to building the kind of community we want to build, I think that going through the boot camp is the best, because I kind of feel like without the boot camp, a lot of people show up and they either don't know our values or they find out that it's hard to look at a blank slate and figure out what to do. I mean, with Ant Village, we had a lot of the ants show up initially, and I think that more than half of them kind of did very, very little. Like, they'd be here for 3 months, and I think after 3 months they kind of realized that they're not going to have a structure ready by the time the snow flies. Like, they haven't really even put any initial posts in the ground. And so I think you come to terms with, like, what you think, what your fantasy is about doing it versus the reality of doing it. Whereas the boot camp pushes you and it gives you structure. And then by the time you're done with 4 years and you get Allerton Abbey, you'll be able to not only maintain it, but improve it, and also all the gardens and stuff. So I don't know. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of the bootcamp. All right. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Oh, we got a little bit more money. I saw the numbers go up.
Thank you. So finishing Allerton Abbey and the whole area there, chicken coops, chicken paddocks, and so on. The Bark Park by Dogstar. What were some of the other things that I want to see? More cob hats on more rocket mass heaters. I'd like to see Bartell's bunkhouse turn into a fully online, rentable structure, livable structure year-round.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's one that comes to mind.
I think that, 95% of the work that the boots do in the boot camp is for the current boots and future boots. I think you can plan on there being a lot more food. I mean, our food systems are really coming online now, but a lot of stuff that we planted, a lot of perennials that we planted 7, 8, 9 years ago are now starting to bear fruit. And we're keeping those solar food dehydrators busy. And so a lot more gardening, a lot more food preservation, a lot more natural building. But I think natural building we've done in spades over the years. But I don't know. I think we've improved our techniques over time. We've gotten a lot better at it. I think.
Anybody who's interested in doing their own natural building, look into the gravel sock idea that we do around here. I think that makes a big difference in terms of like the longevity of a structure that you're building out of timbers and you're sticking it on the ground. That's what comes to mind in my brain.
All right. Nice words from someone who just donated. You rock, Boots. What you are discovering, inventing, experimenting with will filter down to the I think it's the rest of us, and it truly can change our world for the better.
Thank you.
I think for all of my devious plots on world domination, I think that having the boot camp be full is the key bit. And I don't know if the Allerton Abbey offer is going to make a difference. I don't know if the BEL fund getting to 20,000 will make a difference. But I do believe that there's been a lot of people who've come and the BRK or the BEL really kind of helped with like cell phone bills, and some people would arrive with a vehicle, and so they would need to pay vehicle insurance and fuel for buzzing into town once in a while. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of helped with those kinds of expenses a little bit. It seemed like there was a nicety. And for those people that are not vegans, both these guys are vegans. For those people that are not vegans, buying a little meat once in a while. And I don't pay for coffee anymore. So for coffee addicts, get that coffee.
The extra avocados.
Oh, yeah.
You could always try the separate program to see if you'd like it. Yeah, there's been people who've come out. In fact, we've had some people in the separate program that have come out for like a few months. They'd be here for a few months, and they'd be coming into the boot camp as much or as little as they like. And then you came for a month in the separate program, and you stuck around.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could handle being a boot. So, and Dez was there. He was my high commander at the time, and he led me through my first month here, and I was like, yeah, I think I can do this. I want to be here for the long term. And thank you, Dez, for showing me the willow feeder system and encouraging me to do the can change out. Because that was really the thing that convinced me to stay here. Like that system is in place. It works. I'm not going to have, the smell of human waste everywhere. I'm not going to have to deal with buckets of this stuff sitting around, learning about that system during my first month here was a great way to, I think I can make it here. And so thank you, Dez, for that. That was a formative experience for me here.
Yeah, you've done tremendous things. Thank you as well.
So I think we're about to 60 minutes, and I'm not sure of the math how much longer we go, because somebody put in like $10 or something. So
we're $30 shy of another 10 minutes, so I guess that means 7 minutes past the hour point.
Okay, so we go 7 more minutes unless somebody puts in more money into the BEL.
Yeah.
We've had some heavy hitters in the past really be incredibly generous on the BRK in the past, and I keep hoping to see one of them show up, but and like just flood the fundraiser. But, they probably have worky jobs. So they're off doing their worky job right now. But maybe they'll see this video later or something. But
what's that comment about PEP 1 or PEP something there? What does it say?
Leaf says, 2 weeks in the PEP 1 event changed my life for the better. Would highly recommend any time that someone chose to spend at Wheaton Labs.
Cool.
Yeah. Leaf, weren't you here for some weak-ass workshop? Leaf and I were
supposed to carpool from Kansas City to Montana, and I had to bail because my house flooded, but Leaf made it. It was the very first free PEP event, if I recall.
Oh, wow. Well, I thought you were at the first PEP event, or was it the first BB20 event?
I was at the first BB20 event.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, maybe it was a different Leaf. There was somebody who gave me like a submarine thing that you attach to. It's like if you're in the Navy and you are on a submarine, you get a thing attached to your uniform, and he gave me his. Because, of course, with world domination, you need a hollowed out volcano with good submarine access. So there, I've got the little submarine thing, so I can do the submarine thing. So, all right.
Leaf says that was me, Paul.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, we need more money to keep talking, but, so do we go 7 more minutes? Is that it?
7 more minutes.
7 after. Okay. For 7 more minutes. So we've talked about the BEL. We've talked about, the Allerton Abbey deal. So if you're here for 4 years, Allerton Abbey, the truly passive greenhouse, an acre of food, which is currently is growing enough food to feed one person year round. And I think that by the time 4 years from now, I think it'd probably be enough for 10 people.
I think more of those trees are going to be fruiting and bringing stuff up for us to eat. Absolutely. And again, there's going to be probably a new GAMCOD plot, every year. And the next one's going to be inside that fence. So the one that we built this past year, and then the one that's coming up for next growing season. And for sure those are going in there. But there's already like a dozen kugels in that spot anyway, and they're on various levels of productivity.
Another big project that's coming up is we need to replace the uphill wall on Cooper Cabin. And as we do that, we need to put all the infrastructure in to be able to handle a giant round door. So the round door has been started. It is a work of art. And we have the hinge for the round door. It is amazing. And so
I've never seen a hinge that big. Now, I think that the one that JR and his team had built last year for Allerton Abbey was big. But then Sky shows up with a hinge that's this thick, it's like a door in itself. The hinge, it's ridiculous how thick this thing is.
It's been machined, it's made.
It's to hold up a 6 foot diameter wooden door.
7 foot diameter, probably 10 inches thick, insulated door.
Okay, yeah, wow.
I thought it was going to be like 600 pounds, but now I'm thinking it's going to be closer to 1,000 pounds when it's done.
So it's like a bank vault door.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's huge.
So, but I think that falls into the space of one of those projects where it isn't like those of us that are engineering it, we're not artists, we're engineers. And so, but I think we end up with a remarkably beautiful thing when we're done, despite having very little artistic ability.
There's a lot of artists that come in and out and collaborate with the engineering types, and we get some beautiful stuff in the mix.
That is true. That is true. There's been some great beauty that's been added here by true artists that are, not me. I designed the moon gate, and I did very little work on it, but I did do a little bit. But I think that is a piece of art.
If Tim is out there listening, hello, Tim. The moon gate is holding up. It is, it's lovely. See that almost every day.
All right. So I don't think any more money's come in. Has there been any more money?
3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes left.
Is there time for a question? Any other questions out there, Bo?
Yeah. Leaf is wondering what it's going to take to get bees up and running at the lab. I'm guessing the short answer is boots.
I would say boots.
I would say one person who's really passionate about bees.
Yeah.
So we had bees. In fact, I think when Fred had only been here a few days, then you noticed that the hive that we had it had swarmed.
Yeah, I was working in the teepee. We were rerouting some ducting, and then all of a sudden there's just this loud buzzing, and you're just like, what's happening? So we look outside, and there's just thousands of bees flying by, and so I followed them. About 800 feet from where their hive was, they stopped on a tree branch and just sat there for a few days as they scouted for a new place for a hive. But I wasn't a beekeeper. There was no beekeepers handy here, so no one went and captured that hive. We put a hive nearby in case they wanted to use it, but
they're probably still out there. Just come and catch them.
Yeah, I'm sure. So there are wild. We see honeybees on our flowers.
Yeah.
But, we don't have a captured hive.
2 more minutes.
We do have some fascinating hives now that are log hives.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have some swarm catchers. But, yeah, without having a bee person that's passionate, I did get contacted by somebody that said that they were passionate and they wanted to come here. How much am I going to pay them?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, thanks. So, that's a whole other conversation for another day. But we need more money in the BEL fund. If we don't get some money, we're going to shut down here in about a minute. Come on, people, put the money in.
We also have a lot of the leafcutter bees and mason bees in little houses. So
and we have some optimizations on how we manage that I think are working out really well. And we also have brush piles and things along those lines for other pollinators. But it looks like we're going to be done. But I thought this was fun. I thought it was cool. We raised a little bit of money for the BEL. I'm a little sad that we didn't raise huge money and we went on for hours.
I will take a look at any questions that are not answered from today, and I'll put them in my BEL post. I'll address them as much as I can personally.
Like maybe a photo of the.
Yeah, and I have pictures of the finished cob on the red cabins rocket heater. Yeah, and I have video footage of you actually doing the work as well. Yeah. So I can cobble all that stuff together. I'm sure Andreas is going to do a much better job with it. But I'll go ahead and find a way to post all that stuff on the BEL thread that I have.
I'm sure we'll love it.
If you like this sort of thing, come on out to the forums at Permies.com, where we talk about the boot camp, homesteading, and permaculture all the time.
Put Paul's brain on your plot. Do you have a hunk of land but don't know where to start? Do you have a world-changing permaculture idea and you need some feedback? Do you feel like the guy in overalls may inexplicably hold the keys to all your wildest permaculture and homesteading dreams? Well, you're probably wrong. But if you want to give it a go anyway, you can hire Paul for a consultation. He will be all yours for a whole entire hour. Schedule your Paulversation today at Permies.com/consult. Permies.com/consult.